everybody, this is Taff coming in with another Taff's Word. I know this is pretty much all you're going to get through the summer, obviously with no football, until the pre-season friendlies. If I find any shop-worthy videos to film, then we'll pop some of them up. But in the meantime, there's a lot to talk about with the club, and there's three major subjects I want to touch on. And the first of those is being actually Ben Tozer departing the club. Now, I was particularly disappointed because I thought towards the latter end of this season, he started showing exactly how much of a quality player he can be for us. I think under Feeney, he wasn't really given the opportunity to thrive because the football we were playing weren't good enough. Under Wesley, we know it was a nightmare for him. And then the end of last season, he was injured. So for this season, he's played his parts, but he's eased himself into it somewhat. And he was one of the only outstanding performers for the second half, in my opinion. You know, since the Tottenham games, he was the only one that really played well every time I saw him on the pitch, to be honest. So I know there were some performances where no one played well, but he was one of the ones that did stand out. Him and Amond, of course. So disappointed he's gone, but I just don't understand why Cheltenham. I mean, surely. At best, that's a sideward step. Personally, I think it's a downward step. I think Cheltenham are a smaller club. The only thing Cheltenham have got over us, in my opinion, is they own their own ground, and that's as pure and simple as that. Unless he lives closer to Cheltenham, maybe, but it's not that far away. Cheltenham's an hour away, so I don't know whether he lives somewhere the other side of Cheltenham. I don't know if he lives down Yeovil way still or whatever, or whether he lives out Northampton. Now, if he lived out Northampton, you can understand he's cutting an hour out of his journey going backward and forward home. But it's been rattling me. He played well under Flynn. When we spoke to him at the awards night, there was an awful lot of, we're sorting it out, let's hope the gaffer let me stay and all that. So that's why it's bewildered me, because we offered him a deal, unless what we were offering him was crap, unless we offered him a deal that was basically take a pay cut to stay here, and then you can understand. I can't imagine Cheltenham having more money to throw at him, unless they made him their number one target and threw as much money at him as they could, and that prized him away, maybe. But yeah, disappointing, because not only is he a consistent, I wouldn't say a consistent big game performer or anything like that, but he's reliable. It's somebody you can trust. You put him out in centre midfield or right back or centre back. And in my opinion, another thing as well is I would have had him as a potentially good replacement for Ben White at the back for next season. If we signed another midfielder. These things happen in football, I suppose. People move and you don't understand why. I'm sure we'll sign someone else. I wouldn't imagine he was on massive money, but I'm sure we'll replace him. But yeah, disappointing nonetheless. Moving on. Now, those of you who attended the open meeting will know everything that I'm about to talk about. Those who didn't will probably know the majority of it, because a lot of it's come out through the Argus and through individuals putting it out on Facebook and Twitter and the message board and all that. So the club's in a position where we're given three options now. I did a blog on this not too long ago saying that we should look at selling the club. I wouldn't say I've changed my mind. I've altered slightly what I think we should do. Because I was saying about selling up to someone who, and you would have to get it in writing, basically someone who would commit to building us our own stadium, commit to providing us with the right facilities, put some more assets against the club, make it a bit more valuable. Because whoever would come in to buy the club would pick it up for next to nothing. It would literally be the money that we raised to pay off the community shares and pay off Les Scadding. That would be all the money we'd need. We're talking 400k tops, I think, maybe 500 at the absolute most. That's peanuts to buy a football club that's in the Football League. But the hybrid option for me, I think, as fans owned, are we really going to step up with the cash? I don't think we are, because we've had 3 years now to start doing that, and we haven't. It hasn't been pushed enough by the board. I'll give you that much, but we still haven't done what we need to do as benefactors of the club. Because at the end of the day, we're the owners, we're the benefactors, we're the ones who are supposed to fill the gaps. That's pretty much how it works in football. Football chairmen and directors put their own money in to fill whatever deficits there are. And for some reason, we just haven't been doing it. Well, when they said that we're raising 30 to 40k a year through the trust, I thought, that's absolute dog shit. It's bloody awful. I mean, fair play, they haven't pushed any incentives to raise money through the trust. That's the biggest thing. But at the same time, we haven't done what we need to do to dip our hands in our pockets enough. I mean, we took on the club. Yep. By doing so, we saved it from potentially going out of business, because it could have. We were about to face a winding up order from HMRC. And what can I say? I mean, we're in this position now where we're stagnant. We're in a position where we either accept the 250k loss a season, or 350k, whatever the figure is that we're losing every season. We either accept that we're losing that money every season and we rely on player sales and or cup runs to fill those gaps, or we balance it out and be in a relegation fight every year, which we don't want that. It's an acceptable loss. It means that we've got the budget to be competitive in League Two every season. I mean, we've got a good squad there. We've lost one or two, I know, but we're adding as we go. We're going to be adding well, in my opinion. I think we added well last summer. We're going to add well again, and I think Flinney, Hatzball and Lenny have got a good recruitment and skating sort of network between the three of them. So, what for the future of the club now? A big part of playing our future is the third item I'm going to talk about, which is to do with the Welsh Rugby Union, but I'll come to that. That plays a big part in me altering my opinion on this. I was saying we should sell it to someone that's going to build us a ground. I think as long as the WRU, us, and the Newport Council are on board, we can help with the regeneration of Rodney Parade, because we got to have a stakeholding in Rodney Parade for it to be worthwhile for us, because we can't be treading on eggshells, looking over our shoulder all the time, looking at the possibility of losing, a place to play professional football. We need to have a stakeholding in the stadium so we secure it for the foreseeable future. That's basically that. So, how are we going to do that now? There's no point selling up to one individual or one consortium that's going to provide us with our own stadium if that is where we're going to look to play our football from now on. I think the hybrid option, now, if we keep part of the club, and obviously the board going forward will consist of 2 or 3 of the Supporters Trust board members, we then have businessmen who own a stake in the club who will help us plug some gaps when we need to do it, and obviously bring some investment to enhance upon what we've got. And then finally, if the council are involved, it's within their interest then to see the football club thrive, to see the city thrive, and cities thrive on sporting successes. We're getting some really good boxers coming through, and I've said this many a time before. We got boxers coming through. We don't have any high-profile concerts here. We have a few big bands who play in the centre. We've had a couple of decent sort of gigs being played at the Neon, but we don't have a proper arena for big concerts that's going to bring more people into the city. You could tick all those boxes. You could have professional football, and if we thrive upon the football club, and we have the right people running it, like a mixture of the council, the right businessmen involved, and the supporters get a say, then I think we can definitely move forward as a football club, especially if we've got the facilities, the ground, and obviously if the businessmen come in, or if Newport Council come in, we could maybe see some investment in some training facilities. We could maybe see some extra liaison with Newport Live, and possibly even get the FAW involved and get the use of Dragon Park, even if we've got to pay for it. So I definitely think the hybrid option is definitely the way forward for us. It was what Swansea did. And look at them. I mean, they've only just fallen out, but they've spent nearly a decade in the Premier League. And I'm not saying that we're ever going to get that far, but who knows? I mean, Swansea's not much of a bigger city than Newport. I mean, Newport and Swansea are probably on par for size and population. I mean, we got a big catchment area around Newport. We got a lot of small towns and villages around Newport, and there's a lot of people out there who, if you build the profile of the football club and make sure you're throwing it in their face all the time, investing in marketing the club in the local area, then there's no reason why these people won't think to come to Rodney Parade and come and watch us, especially if there's a nice ground. I always say the one thing that's going to attract more football fans is that feeling you get when you walk in the stadium and that overwhelmment you get when you see the ground around as you walk through the tunnel and you see everything for the first time. Every nice ground you go to, it doesn't matter who you are, how many times we've been there, you get that feeling when you walk out, you see the pitch, you see the rest of the stadium. When you go to Rodney Parade, you do not get that. Even from the Bisley, you don't get that at all. Not even a little bit. So, in my opinion, if it's a nicer ground, it's going to attract more people. If the right people are involved to build the profile of the club, is going to attract more people. We're going to get a sustainable support then. The fan base has increased, but the Great Escape would have had something to do with that. And then the Cup Run would have definitely had a real impact on that. We can't rely on high profile games and runs and things like that to see us through. We got to build the profile of the club basically with what we've got. Make match days more of an experience, more than just going there to watch a game of football. Make it a full day's experience. The match day experience has got to improve. I mean, it has improved, don't get me wrong, but it's got to push further on. Now, the final bit I'm going to talk about now, I'm going to have to be brief with this because it is nearly 12 minutes already. The WRU, now it's alleged, well, not so much alleged, but it would put out that our costs have increased 100%. Now, first of all, before I start bitching about the WRU, because I've always been very vocally supportive of the WRU, we need to know exactly what we were paying before and what we're paying now. What exactly is increased by 100%? Everything? Or just the actual on-the-day staging costs? Which, mind you, it sounds as though they overlay that for us anyway. They'll provide the service for us and provide the stage for us, and then we only pay afterwards. A lot of people would take money up front as well, remember. So if our cost is up 100%, exactly what cost? The rent, the staging cost, what exactly do we pay anyway? We don't know, do we? So before we start pointing fingers at the WRU, when we really need to maintain a relationship with these people, let's find out exactly what we're paying and what do we get out of the match days now. Because I know we're getting a percentage of the bar take. I mean, it's said that Kevin Ward said that it wasn't viable for us. Well, what is viable for us? I mean, if it's an extra 30, 40 grand a year, I mean, we make that money with the trust anyway. It's within our interest. Why don't we try and double everything that everybody puts in right now, double it, if that's what it takes for us to stay at that stadium? Because we haven't got any other options at the moment. Spitty Park can't host Football League matches, and there's no way that we'll be sharing with Cardiff City anytime soon, and there is no other grounds around here except for Hereford, which is still a fair whack away, but it's not going to happen. Rodney Parade is our only option, so let's not bite the hand that feeds us right now. And yeah, they may be taking a little bit more money, but they're a much more professional outfit. I mean, if they're saying that no, this can't cost this much, this should cost this much, look, at the end of the day, it's just something we're going to have to take on the chin. But we got to work with the WRU. They want to see us succeed. That's what they say. Well, I'll hold them to that. We'll see if they do want us to succeed. I want the Dragons and Newport Rugby to succeed. I want the Welsh national team to succeed. I want everybody to succeed. We should all be on the same side. We're all for Newport. We're all for Wales. Let's all be on the same side and try to create the best we can for everybody. We'll see what the future brings their way. Well, I say that's my 2 cents on those 3 subjects. I'd love to hear some feedback from you guys. What do you guys think? Do you know anything that I don't? Pop that on the comments down below. Chuck us a cheeky like, subscribe. Please share some videos as well. Please get more people involved. There's a lot of good stuff on this channel, so I'd love to see more of you getting more involved with the rest of the content that's on you. And also, one last thing, if you enjoy doing this kind of thing, or whether you're capable of making videos, whether you're capable of making gaming series, etc., etc., please contact us, because we are looking for some more creators to join our team. And we'd love to get more people involved improve the quality of what we're putting out, and improve the repetition of the uploads of videos, of course. So thanks, guys. And for those of you watching the Champions League final tonight, if you're Liverpool fans, good luck. If you want Liverpool to lose, then that's just outright wrong. Because as I've always said, English teams rely on each other to do well in Europe, to get the coefficients to keep the 4 Champions League slots available every season. So if you're Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, Man City fan wanting Liverpool to lose, well, potentially one day, if all the rest of your rivals do badly in the European Champions League, then you finish 4th and you lose that slot, you miss out. So for just the European games, if you want your rivals to win, it could be for your benefit if they do. So I'll leave on that point. Thanks, guys, and as always, up the county. Cheerio for now.